Romeo and Juliet characters and introduction. Introduction. Romeo and Juliet is a tragic play written by William Shakespeare, one of the most famous playwrights in history. First published in 1597, it is a story of two young lovers, Romeo Montague and Juliet Capulet, whose families are embroiled in a bitter feud. The tragic events that follow the love between the two young lovers have made this play one of the most well-known and frequently performed works in the history of drama. The play is often viewed as a tragic romance because it explores the destructive power of hatred and the intense, yet brief, passion of love. The themes of love, fate, family conflict, and youthful impulsiveness are central to the play's meaning, making it universally relevant across time and cultures. Main characters in Romeo and Juliet. 1. Romeo Montague. Role: the male protagonist, a young and impulsive member of the Montague family. Traits: romantic, emotional, idealistic, and impulsive. Character arc: Romeo begins the play infatuated with Rosalind but quickly falls deeply in love with Juliet at the Capulet party. His passion for Juliet drives him to make rash decisions, including killing Tybalt, which leads to his banishment from Verona. His impulsive actions, including his suicide beside Juliet, ultimately lead to the tragic ending. Famous quotes: "But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Oh, I am fortune's fool." To Juliet Capulet. Role: the female protagonist, a young and innocent member of the Capulet family. Traits: intelligent, courageous, mature beyond her years, and deeply in love with Romeo. Character arc: Juliet starts as a naive young girl, initially obedient to her parents' wishes, but as her love for Romeo grows, she becomes defiant and willing to go to great lengths to be with him. Her actions, like taking the sleeping potion to avoid marrying Paris, highlight her determination. Her tragic suicide after finding Romeo dead is the ultimate consequence of her deep and pure love. Famous quotes: "O Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet." 3. Mercutio. Role: Romeo's close friend and a relative of the prince. Traits: witty, humorous, loyal, and dramatic. He is also known for his sharp wit and love for wordplay. Character arc: Mercutio is a foil to Romeo. He mocks Romeo's romantic ideals and is more skeptical about love. His death at the hands of Tybalt marks a turning point in the play, escalating the conflict and leading to Romeo's retaliation and Tybalt's death. Famous quotes: "A plague o' both your houses. If love be rough with you, be rough with love. Prick love for pricking and you beat love down." 4. Tybalt Capulet. Role: Juliet's cousin and a fierce defender of the Capulet honor. Traits: hot-headed, aggressive, and quick to anger. He is passionate in his hatred of the Montagues. Character arc: Tybalt is antagonistic from the start, eager to fight Romeo at the Capulet feast. His aggressive nature leads to his fatal encounter with Mercutio, which sparks the tragic turn of events. Tybalt's death at Romeo's hands directly leads to Romeo's banishment, setting off the final sequence of tragedies. Famous quotes: "What drawn and talk of peace? I hate the word as I hate hell, all Montagues and thee."
Role: a Franciscan friar who secretly marries Romeo and Juliet and aids them in their quest to be together. Traits: wise, well-meaning, and pragmatic, but ultimately flawed in judgment. Character arc: Friar Lawrence serves as a spiritual guide for Romeo and Juliet, offering them counsel and assistance. He believes that their marriage will reconcile the feuding families. However, his plan to help Juliet avoid marrying Paris by giving her a sleeping potion leads to a tragic misunderstanding, and his failure to communicate with Romeo in time results in the deaths of both lovers. Famous quotes: "These violent delights have violent ends. Wisely and slow. They stumble that run fast." 6. The nurse. Role: Juliet's nurse and confidant, who raised Juliet as a child. Traits: practical, loving, and humorous, with a strong bond with Juliet. Character arc: The nurse acts as a go-between for Romeo and Juliet, helping them to secretly marry and offering support to Juliet. However, later in the play, she advises Juliet to marry Paris after Romeo's banishment, which ultimately strains her relationship with Juliet. Famous quotes: "What a chance have I? And yet no man like you, and yet no man like you." 7. Lord and Lady Capulet. Role: Juliet's parents, the heads of the Capulet family. Traits: Lord Capulet is authoritative and prideful, while Lady Capulet is distant and formal. Character arc: the Capulets are primarily concerned with social status and family honor. They force Juliet to marry Paris, unaware of her secret marriage to Romeo. Their lack of understanding of Juliet's feelings leads to her emotional turmoil. Famous quotes: Lord Capulet, "My child is yet a stranger in the world, she hath not seen the change of 14 years. Lady Capulet, what say you? Can you love the gentleman?" 8. Paris. Role: a young nobleman, cousin to the prince, who is promised Juliet's hand in marriage by her parents. Traits: courteous, respectful, and noble. Character arc: Paris is well-meaning but unaware of Juliet's true feelings. His role in the play highlights the pressure of arranged marriages and societal expectations. His engagement to Juliet is ultimately thwarted by her love for Romeo, and he dies at Romeo's hands at the tomb. 9. Lord and Lady Montague. Role: Romeo's parents. Traits: less prominent in the play, but represents the Montague side of the family feud. Character arc: they are concerned about Romeo's melancholic mood at the beginning of the play, but their role is largely passive. Lord Montague's character contrasts with the more domineering Capulets. Key secondary characters: Benvolio, Romeo's cousin and a peacekeeper. He tries to prevent the conflict between the Montagues and Capulets and is a voice of reason. The Prince of Verona, the ruler who tries to keep peace in Verona and punishes Romeo's actions with banishment. Samson and Gregory, servants of the Capulets, who initiate the conflict with the Montagues in the first scene. Conclusion: the characters in Romeo and Juliet drive the complex interactions that result in the play's tragic outcome. Shakespeare's use of multidimensional characters, each with their own motivations, desires, and flaws, creates a vivid portrayal of love, family conflict, and fate. The contrast between Romeo's impulsiveness and Juliet's wisdom, the feuding families, and Mercutio's cynicism all come together to form a timeless drama that explores consequences of passion, violence, and miscommunication.